Welcome! Today we're going to be talking about the biosphere, which is the global ecological system integrating all living things. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the terrestrial biome known as the temperate broadleaf forest. A few things to note here are the various trees such as beech trees, maples, and birches. Also notable here are the clouds in the sky, which contribute to the greenhouse effect. When the sun's infrared rays come down through the atmosphere, they warm the earth and the heat gets trapped under the clouds. Although this was a fairly chilly day, the warming of the earth still helps animals maintain homeostasis. One more thing to look at in this picture is the density variation of the forest. On the right, the forest is more dense, and as you look to the left, there's a clearing, and bushes and shrubs can be seen there. This variation in the density of the forest will play a factor in which animals can survive in the denser forest versus the clearings and what kind of organisms can live there. One example of this would be the raspberry bushes that are just down the path straight ahead. They are dependent on light, and therefore in the clearing they grow well, but if they were on the right in that forest area, they wouldn't survive very well at all. Next, we're going to zoom in on a tree here and take a look at a couple of slugs. The first one on the left is colored just like the tree, it's dark brown, and then the one on the right is orange. So this is an example of cryptic coloration. So the slug on the left here that's colored like the tree has the advantage as they sit right now because it is more camouflaged to predators and therefore has a greater chance of survival. This is also a great example of species diversity. They're both slugs, but they have different colors and different proteins making those colors. The slug on the right, as opposed to the one on the left, will have the advantage on the ground, though, because they'll be in those colorful orange leaves, and then the orange one will blend in and be camouflaged, therefore having a greater chance of survival. Over here again is a picture of the dense forest that was on the right in the previous picture. As you can see, it's mostly tall trees and very little shrubbery, but here's the path on the left from the previous picture where there are bushes and shrubs and not so many tall trees. Next, we have a fallen tree over here due to the invasive emerald ash borer. And this fallen tree creates a niche or a suitable environment for other organisms that live under it. For example, here, when rolled over underneath the log, we see a population of worms. These worms aid in the nitrogen cycle because they help decay and break down organic matter, which frees nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia, which then make that substance usable for denitrifying bacteria. Next, we're going to zoom in back down this path here towards those raspberry bushes up ahead. Here we see some deer tracks, which ties in with herbivory because we can infer that the deer were down here eating from the bushes. On the opposite end of this spectrum, we have predation, which the results of can be seen here in this photo. This is a piece of animal feces, and I don't know if you can see, but if you look closely, maybe you can, there's hair and small animal remnants inside of it. This feces most likely belongs to a primary carnivore like a wolf, and in this situation, some of the heat energy is lost in the consumption of the smaller animal, so there's less energy for the wolf to use than that animal originally had. And this parallels to the concepts of the pyramid of biomass, which says as the levels of consumption go up, it starts with plants and then herbivores and then primary carnivores and then secondary carnivores. At each level of consumption, some energy is lost as heat.